Hey, what is up, everybody? Jump in here, and today I am back on some Dragon Age 2. In this episode, we will be starting in Lowtown, which is a really important place. Here's a codex here and a note. So let's just grab that stuff. Yeah, so Lowtown's really important because there's a lot to do here that can help us get started for later. The main thing we need to do is go to our house because there's a quest there that we can start, and also we can actually get some early game money. Alright, so let me go ahead and run over here. There's also other stuff you can get as you run around and explore. Now, there's actually, I believe, an ingredient coming up over here. The ingredients in this game, I don't know. I kind of like it because they made it really simple and it's easy to understand. You just collect the ingredients. Once you have them forever. And certain potions and poisons and all that kind of stuff, it's going to take, an X amount to make, and you will never lose the ingredients that you already had. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if I really like the system. Like in Dragon Age Origins, they made it so you actually had to go out your way to do things like that. You had to go to a certain merchant and buy an X amount of a certain ingredient, and then you can make like different potions and different poisons. In this game, they made it so simple that it's kind of like, really? And it's really unrealistic because you pick up, 10 elk root and you make a potion that requires 10, and you will always have that 10 elk root. It's like, really? I don't know. Alright, so this is our home base to start the game, and this is what I was talking about. It's really important to come here so we can get some extra money and, of course, start this quest. Alrighty, so over here we can actually look at this table, and that will have some extra quests for us to do, and we can talk to our mama.
My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
This is the way things are, Mother. Gamlin can't change it now.
Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Lancey, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
I know the Amels were nobility, Mother, but not much else. Why don't you ever talk about them?
The Amels have been a noble family in Kirkwall since Garahel drove out the Fourth Blight. But we've always carried magic in our blood. It's been a stain on our lineage. No family of good standing would ever marry into a line with magic. When I chose your father, I was bringing more magic into our line, not less. I think that's what hurt my parents the most.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in short pants, lad. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Sounds like a yes to me.
Please, Uncle. We have a right to see it for ourselves.
Maybe so. But you won't be seeing the bloody thing. It's still locked up on the estate, and that's long out of my hands.
You didn't take your parents' will?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Who bought the estate, Gamlin? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
What an asshole. Alright, so now we can talk to our sister and get the actual quest here.
So, I hate thinking badly of family. But did Uncle Gamlin seem a little slippery when he talked about Grandfather's will? If he, say, invested money that was meant to be Mother's, do you think he would tell us?
I won't believe Mother's own brother would steal from her.
Mother's been in such a fit of melancholy since Gamlin told her how angry her parents were about Father. She told me she wishes she'd died with Carver. It's like coming here ruined every good memory of her childhood. I wish we could get some of it back.
When this Deep Roads expedition comes through, we can buy her home back, move to Hightown.
Gamlin told me he gave the estate as payment to some slaver who beat him at dice. Apparently, our ancestral home is now a base for slavers from all over Thedas.
How could Gamlin let that happen?
I think there's a reason Mother didn't talk about him much. Seriously, though, those scum have no right to our family's things. We should break in there. Get the will for Mother. I already talked to both of them about this. Gamlin said they guard the front entrance well. But Mother gave me her old key. She said it should unlock the cellar. Apparently the sewers run right beneath the house.
Well, alright. We're gonna do some breaking and entering. Alright, so you can come in here. I don't think that there's anything special in there. You can also talk to your dog. You know what? I will talk to the dog.
He wasn't like this in Lothering. I think he misses the open fields.
City life not agreeing with you?
Poor thing. Maybe he'd be happier if we brought him with us more often.
He's part of the family. I wouldn't want to lose him.
Take it. I'm sick of what's-his-name staring and panting.
Gamlin, honestly, a Mabari understands what you say. Try using his name.
What's wrong with dog? Real easy to remember.
Alright, so the only point of doing that is to name your dog. I think we all know what the name's gonna be. Same thing as the last game, Drew's mom. Too bad he's a boy. I can't remember if the dog in the last game was a boy. Alright, so that's whatever. Now I actually have a DLC, and that's the DLC right there. We will not be doing that till way later though, because I can't remember what level you should do it, but you should definitely wait, because there's a lot of great things from that DLC. I think the name of it is Legacy. But yeah, it's a badass thing. Alright, by opening this chest you can get some DLC items, which, like I said, you can unlock those from, there's a whole bunch of things you can do to unlock them. I can't even tell you half of them. The one I remember is if you like the Facebook page of Dragon Age 2, you can get an item, but you know, just by simply playing Dragon Age Origins and also doing other things, you can get the items. Alright, so we need to go back to Lowtown now, because by opening up that chest, I think I have a level now for almost everyone, so I can level everybody up, and that's really important. And then also another thing we need to do is go to the Hangman, or the Hanging Man, which is like the bar in town, because we need to actually talk to Barracks, and that will unlock another quest. Alright, so let's go ahead and level up real quick. I'm actually going to put all my points into Cunning, so I can open chests and also detect traps, things like that. But 20 should be enough for a while. So from this point on, I will probably be focusing on Dexterity. You can go for Blindside, which is really important. This is amazing. Do 120% extra damage versus enemies engaging other allies, which should be the case almost all the time, so it's really good passive. Generally, the passive skills in this game are like the best skills. Alright, so we're going to go for a 20 Constitution, a 16th Strength, and I need to figure out what do I want to put my point into. Here we go. Alright, so I went for Stonewall, so I'm going to go for the additional one. I recently actually reloaded my save, and by doing that I went ahead and I changed a couple things. The main purpose of me reloading my save though was so I could go back and betray the mercenaries in the beginning, because if you screw over one group you can actually get like the money from doing that and also some extra experience. So that's what I went ahead and did. Alright, so we're gonna go for a 24 magic. Willpower is not that important early game. Let's see. What do I want to get on her? Oh yeah, here we go. Greater heal. And for Varric, I think I'm just going to put points into Dexterity, because I don't need to worry about cunning with him since I have Hawk is a rogue and he already has some decent cunning. We are going to go for blindside as well.
So, here's the thing. We need to find a way into the deep roads. Bartrand can lead us to the right place once we're down there, but we need a good entrance.
I've fought Darkspawn, but I've never been to the deep roads.
Fortunately, I've received some new information. There's a Grey Warden in the city. If anyone knows how to get down there, it'll be him.
Why would a Grey Warden know that?
The Wardens don't just fight Darkspawn. They forge into the deep roads all the time. And if he doesn't know, he might be able to point us to those who do.
Are there any other options?
None at the moment. Bartrand had an entrance lined up, but it was a bust. I'll keep looking, but if we don't find something, we'll have a fancy expedition with nowhere to go.
We don't want trouble with the Grey Wardens, do we?
Let's look at our options first. I'd rather not fight a warden unless we have to. Supposedly, this Grey Warden came in with some other Ferelden refugees not long ago. A Lowtown woman named Lorene has been helping the Fereldans. We talk to her. Maybe we learn where he is. I'll keep after my contacts, see if I can drum up any other work.
If you're seeking aid, leave your name with my girl. We serve everyone here. No one came from Ferelden without trouble. But I can't give priority to anyone who's already found work and lodging.
I hear you know where I can find a Ferelden Grey Warden.
Only Ferelden Grey Warden I've heard of is sitting on the throne. We're out of the Blight's path now. Why would you need a warden?
The healer was one of them once, wasn't he? A warden?
Well, he's not now, and busy enough without answering fool questions about it.
Who are you protecting?
You see what our people face in Kirkwall. They have no jobs, no homes. Most can barely buy bread. This healer, he serves them without thought for coin. He's closed their wounds, delivered their children.
And yet he needs to hide.
He's a good man. I won't lose him to the blighted Templars.
You mean he's a mage?
Would I stick my neck out for some purveyor of hensbane and leeches?
We would never turn someone over to the Templars, mistress. Never.
He doesn't want to be locked in the gallows just for using the gifts the Maker gave him.
Your healer is in no danger from me.
If this mage is an apostate, the Templars will find him.
No maid should suffer for an accident of birth.
I suppose it isn't my secret to keep. Anders has certainly been free enough with his services. Refugees in Darktown know, to find the healer, look for the lit lantern. If you have need enough, Anders will be within.
I got
Well,
5
right.
kids to feed.
Now we can actually leave, but once we leave up out of here, we're going to be confronted. And I'm pretty sure by being nice to her, you can get some Varric friendship. And when you come out here, you can actually get some friendship with Bethany. So that's pretty, that's really nice. Yeah, here we are.
Hey, we heard you in there, asking about the healer. We know what happens to mages in this town. And it ain't gonna happen to him.
Look, we're Fereldans just trying to keep out of the Templars' sight, same as you.
Ferelden? But your clothes. I figured you for a Kirkwaller, sorry. Maker bless the rule of our King Alistair.
Well, okay. Well, if you remember from the Dragon Age Origins Let's Play, I made Alistair the king, and I like it how they kind of keep the story going. Okay, now a couple things I forgot about is I can actually equip some stuff, like that armor that I got, these boots. These boots are like really whatever. They give you decent armor, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Maybe some, yeah, rings, and a belt, necklace. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, there's a staff too that you can give to Bethany, which is actually a really good staff for the beginning of the game. Alright, now, if we come here, this is kind of important I guess, but as you play the game, you're going to find like little armor pieces that merchants will sell. And these are important for your allies, like this is for Varric. gonna give him like more stuff. Also buy the backpack. There's one more in Lowtown that I know of, which is in an armor shop that's like over here on the right side somewhere. Yeah, I think it's just over here. But yeah, we can go and talk to this merchant, or really just look at his inventory. They do this like Dragon Age, not Dragon Age, I mean Mass Effect, where you used to have to talk to the merchant, now you just look at his shop. And this is for Aveline, which is definitely important. Varric, it's not so important because I'm not going to be using him as much. But Aveline, I'm going to be using her like crazy. So, like her, Anders, Meryl, Bethany, stuff like that matters. Alright, so now we can actually leave this area. And I'm trying to think where I want to go next. You know what? I think I'm going to go and do Aveline's quest real quick. Alright, so now that we're here, let's go ahead and turn speed on. Let's see what else. Turn that on as well. Speed. Now there's one more too. I need to actually, I'm going to put it on, which is the summon. You know, this is really helpful. I always liked the way they did this in this game. With they made the dog just a summon. So that's actually really awesome. He's not so useful, to be honest, when it comes to damage and stuff, but he is a distraction, and that really helps. Alright, so now we get some combat. Bring it on, bitches. Now, luckily for us, these guys are kind of far away, so that's not so bad. But there is a... messed up. Trying to use pinning shot on the assassin. Now, this is going to be our first group of assassins that we're going to have to deal with. Ah, man, the assassins are definitely some of the worst enemies in the game. Like, they will just fuck you up. They have a lot of health, they go invisible, they backstab your allies. And one thing they do that is just so ridiculous is that they steal health potions. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, but in this game, they make it so if you're playing on Nightmare, you can only ever have like a maximum of 4 potions from picking them up from like dead enemies and stuff. And because they steal potions, I mean, it's so annoying. I mean, they'll steal so many potions from you and you'll be left with 0 potions. Now, there is a couple things you could actually do for potions. Like, if you're not in combat, you could turn down the difficulty to like casual, and you'll actually find like potions all over the place. I don't know what the limit is for casual, probably like 10 or more. So you can just get free potions that way. It's the same. It's the same thing with health potions as it is with the injury kits. Like, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can't have. It just is really annoying. Alright, but yeah, let's go ahead and take these guys out. Now, if you actually paid attention to what I did there, I kind of moved my party away. Remember, like, that's gonna be one of the main things that we're gonna be doing throughout the entire game. Is luring the enemies out, you know, like making them come to us, and then we're gonna be moving back and letting like Aveline take them on, tanking it up, while the rest of the party will sit back and just kind of shoot the enemies from range. That way, Varric is protected, Hawk is protected, Bethany is protected, and the only one really taking damage right here is Aveline, and she can take a lot of damage, so it's really like whatever. So this will be like the first good example of me doing that. You know, another thing you can do, and I just got me a bow. Hell yeah! Where is that? What does this do? That's not bad at all. It's a lot better than the other one I had. But yeah, you know, that's something you can that we're going to be doing a lot, which is moving away from enemies. Another big part of this strategy, there's actually some traps over here. I need to be a little bit careful.
Trap.
Yeah, see. So we need to, you know, disarming traps is just free XP, so that's really great.
Like the looks of this.
But yeah, one thing about this strategy is that you can actually spawn enemies. And what I mean by that is, you know, a group of enemies will spawn, let's say like 5 of them. Well, if you move away from where the group is, you actually will not spawn the entire group, because a lot of times that group is actually made up of like 15. But what you can do is end up spawning like a few of them at a time. It makes the whole battle a lot easier when you don't have all of them come out of nowhere to attack you. Alright. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to kill that freaking assassin. Really annoying. You know, if Aveline takes a lot of damage, you definitely want to heal her. Here's a strategy too, which I use a lot, which is as you use heal or potion, if you actually pause the game by holding like the LT, you will heal them fully up like almost instantly, and they're not in danger of actually dying, because that's something that can happen as you play. Like you go for the heal and they still die because like their health is recharging as they're still fighting. But if you pause the game, the enemies won't be able to attack and they'll get all their health back, so it's actually pretty important. Alright, so now that's the first two groups. Unfortunately, this is going to be our first real battle because this part can be really annoying. Let's go ahead and pick that up. But now we are going to lure these enemies over to us and run like hell. So if you remember when I talked about spawning enemies, this is going to be a really good example of that. Is I'm going to run as far back as possible, take control of Aveline, and then she's going to start attacking immediately and then taunt. So now we can go back to Hawk and use he got away. So annoying. But yeah, see, hopefully the assassin won't be as big of a threat. I mean, that's the real problem here. This assassin, or just assassins in general, can literally kill your entire party if you're not careful. Okay, there he is. He came back. So now that he's dead, this whole part should be a lot easier. And since I only spawned about half the enemies there, oh no, here they come. But a lot of times you can actually have the combat go away. Oh, Barracks in trouble. So let's just go ahead and move him back. And then I'm going to use pinning shot to get this guy stuck. And now focus down the rest of them, and this should be pretty much it. So if you can't tell, like, combat, as long as you are more strategic about it, combat is actually a breeze in this game. I mean, that's the one thing I really like.
Well equipped for bandits, but dead is dead and the road is clear. Captain Jevon needs to know of this. Back to the barracks for your just reward.
Oh, yeah.
Watch your
Alright,
step.
so there's some traps right here.
That should do it.
So yeah, in Dragon Age Origins, they made it so, you know, because you don't have as much control, if you're really overpowered and you have like a lot of really good gear and stuff, Nightmare is pretty easy, but a lot of it really comes down to just, I'm going to run in and I'm just going to take out all the enemies, you know, by being overpowered. In this game, you don't have to be overpowered. You can actually be really underpowered, and as long as you're just, you know, being smart about how you're dealing with the enemies, it's a breeze. I mean, it's a lot of fun, so.
There's Jevon's office. Wait while I explain our initiative.
I don't know how they do it where you're from, guardswoman, but I decide the patrols, not you and your whims. You may have been put up for lieutenant in your first year, but I'll have no show-offs in my command. Have I made myself clear? Report to your post before I have you and your Ferelden accomplice jailed.
A lot of yelling for doing him a favor.
We killed a band of highwaymen. What does it matter whose patrol it was? It's not the first time he's made me wonder like this. Something is very wrong.
So let's find out whose toes you actually stepped on.
Then we should check the duty roster and see who was supposed to take that route. What have I stepped in this time? Threaten my friend.
Alright, so let's go ahead and check this out.
Aveline! I owe you for clearing that ambush the other night. Saved me a mess of trouble.
Brennan, that route was yours?
It was. Single patrol. I'd have been dead for sure.
So there was nothing unusual about it at all?
It had been clear for weeks. It didn't get unusual until after we heard about you and Aveline. The captain reassigned me after he heard what you did, and I passed the satchel to Donnick for his patrol tonight.
The satchel?
Pay and order assignments. Captain has us run deliveries to the outposts during light duty. It's usually just an updated copy of the roster. The satchel for that night was heavy, though. Anyway, thanks again, Aveline. You're a good one.
So the satchel gets heavy the same day we discover an ambush?
You're sure you want to pursue this? This is your superior we're talking about.
If a guard has been put at risk, a good captain would want to know why. And if he's not a good captain, I want to know why.
A messy way to pass information, and Brennan already sent it along.
Another guard is walking into the same trap. I can't let that happen. Brennan said Donnic. A good man. Donnic. I've got his route. A night walk in Lowtown. Let's go make sure his quiet patrol stays that way.